Okay.
It was wishful thinking for whoever.
I'm sitting in the bleachers today. Yeah. No rush, we're fine. I know we have Councilmember Juandos joining virtually.
Good afternoon. We are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is a joint meeting of the Planning, Housing, and Economic Development Committee and the Transportation Environment Committee. And we are joined virtually by Councilmember Juando, and our other colleagues are all here. We're taking up an exciting proposal that is a consequence of the zoning that was put in place and the community-driven vision for transforming parking lots into parks in downtown Bethesda. And downtown Bethesda has been undergoing a very rapid transformation. There have been a number of really, really exciting projects. We have some very tall buildings in downtown Bethesda and some spectacular architecture and just, I think, a lot of positive change. At the same time, we are yet to deliver some of the civic amenities that the plan seeks to provide. And ultimately, creating an amazing Bethesda is not only about some of the high quality development, but it's also, of course, the civic amenities, the parks and the other spaces. And it won't be too long before the parks are open and the Purple Line is running and the construction bulge is mostly past. And I know there's a lot of people who are feeling somewhat stressed about all the construction impacts there in Bethesda. And just hang on, because we're working our way through it. But I couldn't be more excited about what the future holds, and I think this project particularly is going to bring a real sense of place and an incredible destination, a spectacular setting for gathering, for some dining, for users who are local as well as users who are regional. And in combination with the first parcel that was acquired on Woodmont, I think you're just going to have a really amazing set of spaces right there at the core of downtown Bethesda. And since we're the PHED committee and we do the zoning, we take the hard votes. I think I just have to remind our audience that this is only possible because we passed the Bethesda sector plan. There were a lot of council members in the previous council who had to take some tough votes. We had to put Bethesda into the queue. That in itself was very controversial, wasn't in the queue. I want to give a shout out to Bob Harris for first suggesting to me that we add Bethesda to the queue, and the planning board for agreeing to do that, and then we ultimately proceeded through that plan. But it was a tough but very fulfilling and rewarding process to craft the master plan and to bring it all together and make it work. And I think this is going to be something where the community really feels like, wow, okay, it's all worth it. We're seeing some incredible tangible progress. The finances of this, we're in good times. There's no denying. Fiscally, this county is somewhat flush, and we're fortunate to be able to have some resources to devote to this project from the general budget, because that wasn't necessarily the original intent. But given the state of things, it's a really great investment in the success of Bethesda, and this is a source of real strength for the county. So I think it makes sense to invest our resources in the continuing progress of the area. So thanks to all the parties for their working together. It's been through lots of iterations and steps forward, and we'll, my colleagues may wish to make some comments. I know Councilmember Friedson has been working hard to bring this in. I appreciated his comment. I think he said to me when he was first joining the council that his number one priority was to deliver this project, and I thought that was great. I know he's been working diligently on this throughout. So Really happy to be here today and looking forward to getting this finalized. And I'll turn to my co-chair if he'd like to make some comments, and to our colleagues on the committees.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I second everything you've said. This is a tremendously exciting project, not just for the future of Bethesda, but for the future of the whole county. I think it answers so many requests that we've heard over the years for what people want to see in the future of Bethesda. I'm really excited to see it move forward, and don't want to take up more time. I want to give it over to the local council member who I know has worked very hard on this. Thank you.
Well, thank you. First of all, this is a really exciting project, not just for downtown Bethesda, but for the county and for our interest in creating the type of places and spaces that people desperately want. And that will attract more people to move here, more businesses to invest here, more of our residents to want to stay here. And the 2018 Bethesda Downtown Plan, which predated the two of us on this side of the dais, certainly had a lot of vigorous debate. But one thing that was not really debated, there was tremendous consensus, was on the fact that open spaces, green spaces, urban spaces were something that the community desperately desired. And the council, and particularly under your leadership, Chair Reamer and my predecessor, Roger Berliner, really pushed that and delivered on that. And Councilmember Hucker and the council really deserves a lot of credit for following your lead. And this has been years in the making, obviously since 2018, but the last several years, certainly since I've joined the council. I want to give credit to the county executive who's been pushing for this, and the entire executive branch, the Parks Department, Director Riley and Ms. Figueredo, who's here, and so many others, and the private sector. I mean, this is a good example of the public and private sector coming together, municipal government, state government, and county government all coming together to make big things happen. And this is going to be a big thing. Make no mistake about it. I see we have EYA and the Bernstein companies here as well. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Barney Rush, who's here in the audience. The town of Chevy Chase wouldn't allow us to let this not move forward. And that is true with significant advocacy, but also a real financial commitment from the town of Chevy Chase, which that $4.5 million commitment is part of the reason, a big part of the reason why we're able to be here today. But significant commitments from the town of Chevy Chase, also from the state. I do want to acknowledge former Delegation Chair Corman, Senator Zucker at the Capital Budget Committee, and Delegate Solomon in particular. I think it reflects the countywide benefit that this project is going to have that spans multiple legislative districts. And I also did want to note there is a lot of public support, some of which weren't able to be included in the packet because of the holiday and it had to come in early, but Citizens Coordinating Committee on Friendship Heights, the Maplewood Citizens Association, Bethesda Implementation Committee, the Bradley House Condo Association, Chevy Chase West Citizens Association, the town of Kensington, the town of Chevy Chase, the town of Somerset, the town of Glen Echo, Chevy Chase Village, East Bethesda Citizens Association, Chevy Chase Village Section 3, and others. There is just a significant amount of municipal support, a significant amount of broad community support, and it's just a really exciting project, something that I hope will be a model for Bethesda and Wheaton and Silver Spring and urban jurisdictions around the county to bring the private, public, state, municipal governments together to make big things happen and to really center communities around central open spaces, public open spaces. And I know that we will continue to do that. And I just wanted to acknowledge again, Councilmember Reamer, this wouldn't have been possible without you and without Councilmember Berliner really pushing this forward, making sure that lots 10 and 24 were parks and open space as part of the Bethesda Downtown Plan, and making sure that the community's interest in having that type of central civic plaza, civic space a core part of that master plan. I think it's important to note that not all master plans actually come to fruition, particularly on the public side. And this is an example in relatively short period of time, the public side coming together and coming to fruition. It's a really well-designed and thoughtful project. There has been significant public and community input to tweak it and change it and update it to get it to a really positive place with broad, I would say, universal support, interest, and excitement. And I'm just really excited to move this forward and to get it done in this council. I think it's appropriate for this being your final joint committee meeting for this to be the last thing that you do before your final council meeting tomorrow. So thank you, and let's get on with it.
Thank you so much. Well said. I'd like to turn it to Councilmember Glass.
I'll be brief. I appreciate all the work that Councilmember Friedson mentioned and put into this, along with Chair Reamer and, quite frankly, everybody who's in this room. You knew this is a foregone conclusion, but you showed up anyway, because it's important that y'all are here because of the various contributions that you've all made to this. And I just want to take 30 seconds to also thank Mayor Barney Rush, who it was probably shortly around the time that the plan was adopted in 2017 that he and I met at the Panera across the street from where we're talking about. And he shared with me his vision, and I shared with him my commitment to make that vision possible. And here we all are. So let's get on with it.
One more person I'd just like to add, Mary Flynn. She's not here today, I think, but she was in many ways a central organizer of the community coalition that helped steer the Bethesda sector plan and always approached it with a thoughtful mindset and looked to solve challenges as opposed to simply, fighting against things. It was there to get it done in the right way, and that was a undeniably crucial element of the whole success of the plan. Was a community coalition that was ready to play ball, and we got it done together. So Mayor Rush, thank you. It's been such an honor to work with you over so many years, and I've really appreciated your approach. I've learned a lot from you. I want you to know. I've been grateful for the chance to work with you. All right. Thank you. So I guess we're adjourned. All right. Glenn Harlan, we start with you.
Okay, thank you. Again, you have the two appropriations and CIP amendments before you, and the council will be acting on them tomorrow. I thought we'd start with a presentation from Parks of what the project is, and it's an abbreviated version, not to worry. And then we have, Pam and I have 4 recommended changes to the PDFs. I characterize them as all as crossing T's and dotting I's. It doesn't change the substance or the amount of the funding, really. But we think it's necessary just to put them in order. So with that, let me turn over to Parks.
Good afternoon, Mike Riley, Parks Director. It's great to be with you. This is an exciting project from many perspectives, but in my world, it's about the parks, and I'm extremely excited to be delivering these urban parks. We've been talking to you for years and years during our semi-annual reports about some big priorities in the Parks Department, and one of them has been vibrant, walkable, urban parks in our population centers that foster social engagement and interaction. And that's what this project is about from the parks perspective, in addition to the housing. I've been very privileged to work with a great team from the county government, from town of Chevy Chase, and from EYA Bernstein in the private sector over the last year to kind of get to this point. If you approve these supplementals today, we collectively have some I's to dot and T's to cross, and then we roll up our sleeves getting to work making this happen. So that's where I want to be, and I do seek your approval today.
Good afternoon, Chris Conklin, Director, Montgomery County Department of Transportation. This is an exciting opportunity to change parking lots that are important but unattractive community assets into something that's a really vital piece of the fabric of Bethesda. We're really excited to be here today. Our role is really to enable the conversion of these parking lots to parks. through an underground garage that's smaller than the amount of parking that's there today, but that we believe is adequate to serve the needs, and to facilitate everything else you're going to see in the presentation today. So very excited to be here, and I'll let my colleagues at Parks walk through the presentation so that you can see how exciting this opportunity really is.
Good afternoon, council members. Thank you so much for hearing our presentation today. We'll try and go through it quickly, but it'll cover a little bit of the groundwork that some of you already covered, and tell you where we are today. Again, for the record, I'm Brenda Sandberg. I'm the real estate management supervisor in Montgomery Parks. So again, you're familiar with the project location. You can see that this overall project comprises Lot 24, Lot 10, as well as the Farm Women's Market lot and an adjacent additional private property. The next slide. As you mentioned already, the Bethesda Downtown Plan had a series of recommendations that came out of it, and 3 of them really overlap at this location. The idea of creating a civic green on the revitalized Farm Women's Market itself, having the Eastern Greenway and having some significant portions of lots 24 and lot 10, creating some larger parks along the Eastern Greenway to be active, social, and green parks in this area immediately adjacent to the Farm Women's Market, and undergrounding the public parking, again, to free up the space that's needed for new housing, new commercial, and for these public parks as needed. Again, everyone knows about the historic Farm Women's Market, but just wanted to share a nice photo from the 1930s, as well as a photo of it today. And it is the only remaining purpose-built women's farm market left in the state of Maryland. And as everyone's been saying, this is really a potential to create a focal point for the southern stretch of Wisconsin Avenue in downtown Bethesda. Next slide. So after the master plan approval, coordination happened between DOT with council and county executive, parks, and the development folks, and came up with a sketch plan. They went to the planning board and received planning board approval in 2019. Again, as I mentioned, this sketch plan covers both the 2 private parcels, one the Farm Women's Market, and then the one that's labeled 7121 Wisconsin on this graphic, as well as parking lot districts 24 and lot 10. And the approval of the sketch plan back then, it was envisioned this collaborative project to meet the multiple sector plan goals, revitalize the Farm Women's Market and the surrounding public space around it, modern underground public parking, 2 significant public parks, and new housing and commercial development to help grow Bethesda. Here's a little bit of a blow-up of that sketch plan illustration from 2019, and just sort of showing you, again, new housing development, renovated and expanded Farm Women's Market. Both of those 2 elements will stay in private sector ownership and control. Then the Lot 24 park, Lot 10 park, and invisible in this graphic is the underground public parking garage.
Okay, sorry if you could. Now, I don't think we're going to get the presentation from our private sector partners today, so some of the visuals that they've prepared in the past, we won't be able to see, but I just wanted to say how exciting I think it is, the idea of a reuse of the historic building with the addition of a new structure, creating a place. I think it's just going to be spectacular. I can't wait to get a chance to spend time there. I think it's going to be a real destination and one of the best places in Bethesda. And I think it just, I couldn't be more excited about it. I think it's the best kind of approach to historic preservation in this, that we could have here. I think it's just really perfect. So anyway, thanks. And again, thanks to our private partners for their vision and taking the risk to do this and make this possible.
All right. Again, so there are 4 major components to this project, as we've already covered. Private residential and commercial development, again, based on the sketch plan a few years ago, approximately 320 multifamily units, about 48 MPDUs, approximately 26 to 32,000 square feet of retail space, which is more than the current retail space on those properties of about 17,500 1,000 square feet. The second element is the Farm Women's Market renovation and expansion. Again, revitalize it. Also, undergrounding the utilities in this whole area to try and get rid of the poles that end up interfering with a lot of pedestrian connectivity. Then the two public elements, the public parking garage under Lot 24. The proposal is for it to be 200 spaces and integrated with the private residential development parking underground, and then parks on Lot 24 and Lot 10. The remainder of Lot 24, a good portion of it, all of Lot 10 will become public parks. That's approximately 3.5 acres of new urban park space to serve the community. So the overall project structure, and please note that this is just for the public elements, for the garage and the parks, that this funding summary puts together. Again, as we mentioned, we have 4 main partners. We have the development entity, which is EYA and Bernstein Development joint venture. Then there's Montgomery County DOT. We have Montgomery Parks and the town of Chevy Chase. So 4 parties to this agreement. The overall funding sources: state aid, about $3.5 million. Bethesda Park impact payment, $2.5 million. Town of Chevy Chase is contributing $4.5 million. County funds, $9.225 million. The developer will be purchasing Lot 24. That puts $7 million into the mix. And then there's also a developer contribution of $975,000. So the estimated cost for, again, these two public elements, the garage and the parks, is about $27.7 million. So next slide. So real quickly to cover the implementation process, as we've all mentioned, there was the master plan, then sketch plan approval. Then there was a notice of intent issued by DOT in May 2020 that had to do with reuse of the parking lots, I believe. Today, we're here to get funding approval for those public elements. The next steps, and I'll tell you a little bit more on the final slide, we've got a lot of legal agreements and financial agreements that we have to negotiate between these 4 parties to make sure all the, as Mike said, all the T's are crossed and the I's dotted to move forward. The developer also then has to go through the regular development review process and do the final design and detail and get planning board approval. The public parking garage, the sort of structural part of it is that the county will be selling Lot 24 to the developer, and then the county will purchase back the underground parking garage, and that will be in the form of a condominium unit. For the 2 public parks, it's not an acquisition strictly. It's the Parks and Town of Chevy Chase funds will be funneled through the Parks PDF, will be contributed to the developer to support the development cost for the 2 parks. The developer then will transfer Lot 24 to the commission as a condo unit, and the county will transfer Lot 10 to the commission in fee. And so what's in front of you today, as everyone said, we have 2 CIP projects, the Farm Women's Market parking garage and the Bethesda lots 1024. And this is another sketch plan illustration, again, from a few years ago. Just a very brief summary of each, and then we'll move on. The total PDF for the parking garage is $10.293 million. Of that, the $9.893 million will be the balance of the garage purchase cost, as well as some money going to undergrounding the utilities on the site, and about $400,000 for planning, design, and supervision on the DOT side. The funding sources for that are about $9.225 million in county geo bonds, and then $1.068 million in intergovernmental, and that's Town of Chevy Chase. And then for the Bethesda lots 1024 Parks PDF, the total PDF is $9.432 million. $8.832 million will be the contributions to the development project to fund some of the undergrounding, the utilities, as well as developing and constructing the new parks. About $600,000 will be for planning, design, and supervision on the Parks Department side. Our funding sources include $2.5 million from the Bethesda Park impact payment funds, $2.5 million in state aid, and then $4.432 million intergovernmental from the Town of Chevy Chase. And so to wrap up, next steps, like I mentioned, finalize agreements. This is sort of full employment for our financial and legal staffs, I think, in all of the partners groups. We've got funding agreements, development and or purchase agreements, condominium documents. The development entity is going to move forward with detailed design, refining design, initiating public engagement, focusing on the parks, but other elements of public engagement. Then there's the series of development approvals that need to happen. Of note, the Farm Women's Market work will have to go through the Historic Preservation Commission, and then all the rest of the development approvals through the Planning Board, and then on to implementation, construction, settlements, and implementation of everything we agreed to. So hopefully that's the big picture, and we can move on to the details.
All right.
Okay, the council staff supports both projects. We just have, again, these 4 sets of recommendations that cross T's and dot I's. And if you follow along on Circle 21, you'll see the marked up PDF with our recommended changes for the Farm Women's Market parking garage. Basically 2 changes there. One is typically on PDFs, when the work is being done by an entity that's outside of the agency that's sponsoring, in this case DOT, that shows those costs are shown under other. So currently it shows site improvements and utilities as a separate line, but that's actually going to be work done by the developer. So instead, that line would be wiped out, and the $716,000, which is in FY24, would be added to the other category in that PDF. And just to make clear that we don't lose the fact that that $716,000 is going to be spent on undergrounding utilities, and in FY24, we add a sentence to the fiscal note saying that. And that's the only recommended set of changes for the garage project. For the Parks project, we have 3 suggested changes. First of all, Brenda in her presentation mentioned there needs to be follow-up agreements that are developed among the county and Park and Planning and Town of Chevy Chase and the developer as to the specifics of these agreements, as the specifics of how to go forward on some of these details. And there is language in the Farm Women's Market parking garage that we would want to add to the Parks one, identical language, which reads, the following funding plan is contingent upon executed agreements with the developer and the Town of Chevy Chase, as well as council approval of related property disposition actions. So both PDFs would have the same language. Secondly, that although the money in the garage project shows all the undergrounding utilities in FY24, the Parks project currently shows it spread out over 4 years. Well, the work's all going to be done in 1 year in FY24. So this would put all of the Parks contribution to underground utilities in FY24 as well. And then also adding language, also making sure that there is just 2 lines, planning design supervision, which is the work being done by planning staff, and then everything else, which is other, the building of the parks, the undergrounding utilities, which is all going to be done by the developer. Right, and then the fourth item, you recall that the Parks is recommending, Parks Department and Parks Board is recommending a total appropriation of $9,432,000. That includes the entire $600,000 over 6 years for staff charges. And typically we do not appropriate, we program, but we don't appropriate staff charges except on a year-to-year basis. So we'd recommend in this case that the appropriation only be $8,932,000, which covers everything that would go to the developer and the first year, FY23, of staff charges from the Parks Department. And then every year subsequently, if $100,000 is what they need to continue to do their supervision, then that's what they would be asking for in their capital budget. And so all those changes are reflected on the PDFs and the versions of the resolutions starting on Circle 21. Sorry, Circle 19, but the first change is on Circle 21. And so with those changes, we recommend approval of both projects.
Okay. Well, without objection on the recommended changes. From our partners, any comments on?
Yes, Parks is good with all the changes on its PDF. I'll thank Glenn and Pam for pulling DOT and Parks together to discuss the project in advance of writing its packet. So no surprises, and we're good with all of it.
All right, all right. Well, I guess that's I think that takes care of it. Before we do it, okay, anything else on this topic? I did want to just acknowledge that this is like a group of my favorite people all in one room, and I'm excited to see, and as you said, I'm so grateful that this could be my final committee meeting here at the Montgomery County Council. So, wow.
Before I let you finish, because I don't want to have the last word, I want you to have the last word. Before I didn't quite highlight how complicated the financial arrangement is, which Director Conklin played a central role in figuring out how all these moving parts were going to work. And so I noted everybody's involvement, but in particular want to thank Director Conklin. I don't think that the complicated nature of condoing and sellbacks and fee simple versus condo, et cetera, and all the different dynamics with the PLD and the PIP payments and everything wouldn't have been possible without your efforts and your work. So I noted the executive branch and the Department of Transportation broadly, but I wanted to acknowledge you, specifically and really thank you for your commitment to this project, for your creativity and figuring this out, and note how fortunate we are to have somebody with your talent level working on projects like this. So thank you for that, and with that I will yield back to you.
Well said.
Mr. Chair.
Well said. Great. Well, I don't know what to say other than it's been an honor working with each of you, and I've loved it, every minute of it, and we've done some great things together, and this is certainly going to be a tribute or a monument of civic action and collaboration and partnership, and I'm really pleased and proud to have been part of it. And all good things come to an end, so I'll be signing off here in a moment. But thanks to everyone for years of friendship and partnership. Thank you. Oh, move approval. Thank you.
Moving on.
I'll move the approval.
All right. Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor, including the council member joining virtually. Okay. Well, we'll come back to him.
My hand is up.
Oh, okay, there you are. Your hand is up. Great. There you go. Okay, I see you. Great. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.